Hey guys, how are you? Yeah, this is what I came back to, man. I had so many other things to deal with. So we had over here, remember from earlier, let me just let's get into draw mode. I'm moving that baby around. This is what I was came back to. We did a YouTube clip earlier on in the day saying that the 6775 is your key critical level. And here we go, here we go, here we go. That's it right there. That was your market sniper. Get ready to act there. You had early warning period over there, rejected, but the buy line was coming up underneath this. Then the volume came to support you on this major move. And you should have been kept long in this because the target here had not been made target of that, and you were on suspicion of potential overperformance maximus, aka greater than the target. Why? Because we had already spoken of highlighter coming in, this area here all being party to the neckline that was the 6675 of the inverted head and shoulders. So there's a couple of things that could have happened, and we did describe all three. You could have had a fierce rejection and protection of that. You could have had a mild rejection and then a churn, high volatility. So now I'm scribbling all over my writing. And then you could have had, better to do it in green, the melt up option. Why would there be this option of melt up? Well, I described before again in previous versions. So let's go out of pain mode and change the time. We won't save that one. That was a microbial 5 minutes. Note how you get a fractal HVF in that 5 minute super short time frame. Why are you watching 5 minutes? I always say don't focus on the short time frame, be focused on the big time frame, because that was the rare sniper moment where you're looking through the scopes. Most of the time you should be looking through the binoculars and with a naked eye, and then you only intensify your view when you get to that point when a major event has the potential to happen. And this was that major event. So reframing the chart here, going back into draw mode, this was the key event. Right here, back on your highlighter, this level again before was highlighted to you as a stop level on the funnel that was in here. And on that funnel, it was serving as resistance in the pink. That was that funnel right there. It was an upside, and you were bouncing into that resistance there, resistance there, resistance there, and resistance there. So this was big lean on this, and we'd been knocked back a number of times. If we looked at this, you've seen it all a couple of times already before. There, and then back down here. Down. So it's been it's been quite strong resistance. So let's clear all of those scribblings and take it away. So the sniper point was there, just in the same way you had an earlier one there, and we twice now performed out of inverted head and shoulders. We've twice now performed, and you had good volume on your break there, and you've had extreme volume here. And the reason I said this would have to be an overperformance option is because of the funnel area I colored in pink earlier for you, and then this even larger funnel area that we part the way through. So the story isn't done. We part the way through this thick, let's go with the orange color, really thick area here, which was this area that I'm shading, which starts above that green line short for the daily, and that stop up top there, all shaded in there. So that was the 7786 level, and that is your 7,000, and I believe it's 68. over there. So there's two layers because I did this one in pink just before, which I removed. So let's remove all of that again because I've done it very granularly for you and I've shaded in a lot of the chart. So why? You've got to run through these tough areas. Now you've had a little bit of a wick. The only minor bearish element about this is that you've had a little bit of a wick and push back, but this could then set up. What am I drawing? And you could be shouting, for example, bull flag, where you reassert pump and you finish the job getting above these key levels. That would then give you a very powerful signal that this is on the way. Now, some of you might ask, well, what was that target again? Well, I did it for you in the draw. That was your line, and it took you through and invalidated that funnel to there. And the other point was that if you look over here, I'm at 7.9, 8K, not too far away for the bulls. So in terms of what's happening now, we're getting reversal patterns performing to target. Remember, that's a fractal of that. That met target really nicely. That's what this purple line was all about. And now you've got the larger setup here with that as a potential. Now, it doesn't have to do that. I mean, it could tomorrow sell off really brutally. Let's do it in gray because I've got a lot of red on here. Sell off really brutally and come all the way back down and revisit what was an incredibly harsh layer that has been almost for a while leaning on this market across here. So that is such a harsh level. Could come do it, but it doesn't feel or look that way. Why? Because of the impulsiveness that we're seeing in the charts here. This is a very impulsive candle. That is very impulsive volume, supported by previous impulsive volume. And you can see the effect that's had on your OBV, which is a combination of price movement and the volume that enforces it. Very little red volume there. All the rest of this was green. So let's show you that again so that you can see it. What this will have done is a lot of things may actually be upside performing right now. And remember, your alts have sometimes a higher beta. Alts have a higher beta. Now, in our premium room, that means in the bullish moments, bull season can sometimes go similar amount or greater than BTC itself in percentage terms and in gain. So you want to keep an eye out now on alts. And now if we start to get the undoing of bearishness, then it becomes an issue of you now want to start valuing in BTC again. We're not there yet. Why does he say that? We're not there yet. Take away the drawing part, forget that chart, go back to a slightly bigger time frame to remind everybody from whence we came. So we're going to go back up to the daily. You've got to remember the recent history. So we're starting to have short time frame bullish reversal patterns occur and medium time frame bullish reversal patterns, but the long time frame, which is your daily time frame, is still under a degree of shadow. However, the more recent news is certainly perking up some. So I also did a tube not so long ago on Freeview for a number of you, and I highlighted, so let's go back to Paint View. I highlighted that this could have been deemed. This could have been deemed. Let's take a color. We'll go for the gray. A falling wedge structure, not the straightest line. Excuse the drawing. And I'm practicing on this tool, so that is terrible for drawing a triangle. Let's try to do it again. And a wick chop like that is kind of potential of a degree of wedge. This wick did trade lower than that, and that is what gave us the structure that we said there is a degree of breakdown and continuation pattern because a level was held. But in the same way, I sometimes trim wicks and see where's the main body's been, there, and here. So you could also argue that you've got the falling wedge. There's slight ambiguity on that, and this could get across to this side and become a little bit of a pullback and break the wedge. And then the other aspect that's interesting with what I've just drawn there, so that's a very messy draw. So let's take it off, and I'll keep trying to improve on draws because I want to be entertaining with this. But while you're getting nestled head and shoulders performing, we had one there. Let's grab that again, and we had one already here. So it's once again let's go with the brown this time. We had one in there, and we're now asking the question, are you one? If that was to perform, and as I mentioned, it would take you very close to the 8 thou level, and it'll invalidate here. So you'll end up there. If you then get a rest, if we run there and you then get a rest back, what of course you get is you continually get new structure for inverted head and shoulders. So that's a fractal in there. This is what I mean when I use the word fractal. It's a small time frame setup that was an inverted head and shoulders. You keep going for it there, and now you've got that one that we're wondering, are you going to make target? And then if it was to, in the event, and that's by no means a guarantee, you then could get a new left shoulder, head, right shoulder, which would have a fresh neckline along here, which zonally with a highlighter I would draw across there. And that then sets up new structure potential, new targets down. You would take from that neckline over here down to there, getting a bit messy again with these thick draws. But that could be getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but that could then set up essentially from here down to there, which could then push, give you new targets to here. Now, I said the overall full-blown bear invalidation, for those of you that have been following the channel, is roughly at that level where you start making higher highs. I did suggest that it'll be truly put to bed when you make a higher high than that. But the start is making a higher high than that and failing to make a low that's low. So if you run that and then you dip back, but you don't make a low as this, so we call that an L1 and an L2, and that is a higher H2 to that H1, then you're starting to make higher highs and higher lows, and that is Dow theory, the godfather of technical analysis, which means for that time frame under review, which is daily up top there, aka the D, you are now starting to move out of bear, not equal to anymore, and starting to equal bull. But still some things to happen for that. So there's a lot of presupposition in all of this. So, okay, that's a quick update on BTC. We know in our premium group some of our favorite macros that we suspect will outperform Bitcoin by potentially some multiple if it does start revert bearish. So we'll be dusting off those charts that are in macro structures. As I say, it's not for everybody, but if you want to find out more, the usual www, and it's the Market Sniper, and you can attend a free webinar on the 31st of July at 1900, he says, 1900 BTC, which is 7 in the evening. BTC, BST. Look at the dyslexic man. Anyway, that's my update for you. Enjoy yourselves. This is not a recommendation, just a quick look at it. And as I say, the bear isn't confirmed done, but that inverted HVF with that red line there being run will invalidate all that talk that you heard where there was possibility of this macro target to the downside being projected way down there, which is throwing out some pretty wild numbers. We didn't overemphasize that because this was in the category of a 70% move already done, 70% sell-off. So it was a very big structure pattern very late in the trend. So we tend to be more circumspect about the potential for that. Why Bitcoin was at 20K, and we called that 6,000 run that occurred over there with a number of inverteds that you saw here, with downside targets and a head and shoulder. So that's technical analysis. That's getting probabilities on your side, not guarantees. Speak to you later. Hope this is interesting. And see those of you for whom it sounds interesting and aligned on the free webinar on that 31st of July. Bye for now.